Hi, this is Ron Darling.
This is Skip Lockwood.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the 69 New York Mets, and you're listening to MetsMusings with Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings. 4-6 on the crazy road trip. The Mets were ending with a lost weekend in Seattle. Just got swept, didn't hit. They scored one run. One stinking run. And that was on Sunday, and it was by a Jeff McNeil homer. Shut out the first two games. Just a terrible performance by the Mets this weekend. The whole road trip, it was a strange road trip. They played well in some games and played awful in others. Bullpen did not come through. Just everybody kind of fell flat. Key game was the game in St. Louis. They did take that. And I think just being on the road for that long really took its toll on these guys. And look, Seattle's a good team. They've got the best pitching staff in the majors right now. So that was really no surprise that they pitched well. The funny part was that the Gary Cohen was talking about how anemic their offense has been, that them being Seattle, and they went in and hammered the Mets. So they didn't look so anemic this weekend, Gary, but, you can never tell. I mean, it was the end of a long road trip, and they just didn't play well in Seattle at all. I mean, 18 innings or plus of being shut out. The first two games was terrible, and then they went into the third game and didn't score until I think it was the fifth or sixth inning. And Jeff McNeil hit a home run. No timely hitting. Offense looks bad again. They're swinging for the fences. They're trying to pull everything. Alonso's trying to pull everything. Alvarez is trying to pull everything. Martinez looks like he's trying to pull the ball. Instead of going the other way, go up the middle, go up the middle, go the other way, and that's the way to do it. That's what they were doing when they were successful and in a hot streak. And it's not working now. It's not working on anything, but they're coming home for 10 games, maybe some nice home cooking. They're playing Oakland. Now, Oakland's played better lately, so they're not going to be a pushover either, but these 10 games, the next 20 games are going to be important, but these 10 are going to be uber important. They have to get out of these at least 7-3. 8-2 would be nice, but they're playing 3 with Oakland, 4 with Miami, and 3 with Baltimore, and those games are going to be tough. But and Miami always seems to give the Mets a hard time. So let's just hope they can, win series now. Take 2 out of 3 from Oakland, 3 out of 4 with Miami, 2 out of 3, and that gives us a 7-3 homestand if they can do it. But they just did not look good this weekend. And help is slowly coming back, though. Prior to Saturday night's game against the Mariners, the Mets activated Reed Garrett From the injured list, they optioned left-handed Alex Young to AAA Syracuse. So one arm back in the bullpen, and Starling Marte is doing a rehab assignment. And Sean Reed Foley has had mixed results in 5 minor league rehab outings as he tries to battle back from a right shoulder impingement, prompting the Mets they're going to take their time with him, tread carefully, especially since he missed time in March and April with the same injury. So they want to make sure that he shows additional durability in the minors and plan to test him in a multi-inning outing on August 11th because it was suspended to rain before he could pitch. So he will try again on August 13th. That's tomorrow. So we will see how he is doing. Deadnail Nunez, who is recovering from a right pronator strain, threw a bullpen session on August 11, making his first mound work since a July 23rd game against the Yankees. He's scheduled to toss again on August 13th. The progression keeps him on track for a return before the end of August. Before his injury, Nunez had emerged as a key piece in the bullpen with a 2.43 ERA and a 0.93 whip over 33 and 1/3 innings. So that is some good news there. I told you about Starling Marte. Mark Vientos was a late scratch from the Mets series finale yesterday due to a sore left ankle, which he initially injured when he fouled a ball off the joint on August 4th. Mets manager Carlos Mendoza said that Vientos is day-to-day. The Mets they're off today on Monday, and he will have 48 hours of rest, more than that, before the team opens they're saying a 9-game homestand against the A's. So Vientos is a little knocked up. And yes, it is. It's a 9-game homestand. Well, these 9 games are going to be uber important, and they have to go at least 6-3 in those as well. All right, the offense again, as I said, is struggling, and it's a funny thing. Bullpens go through this, offenses go through this. They get hot, they get cold. Arizona and San Diego, who the Mets are battling right now for the wild card spot, are red hot. They're playing Super Bowl, and the Mets are going out to the coast to play both those teams. So that's why I said the next 19, 20 games are going to be extremely important. But these 10 could set up that whole road trip. Or these 9 could set up that whole road trip. Because if they do not perform well here and get knocked further down in the wild card standings, that trip out west could be disastrous for them. If they do well here and get on a roll, maybe they can continue it out west and do some damage and move up in the wild card standings. Right now, they're a half a game out of the 3rd wild card spot. They're literally tied with the Atlanta Braves. It's percentage points that the Braves are ahead. And how about the Braves? My goodness. They have really fallen on hard times. They have a number of guys hurt. But, boy, they used to be able to plug somebody in and he'd be as good or if not better than the guy he was replacing. But maybe that run has come to an end. And they are struggling mightily. So the Mets have to stay on their tail. That's the good news. The bad news is that St. Louis and San Francisco are starting to play a little bit better, as well as Arizona and San Diego, who were ahead of the Mets and Atlanta. They hold the first 2 wild card spots as we speak. So I believe the Mets may have a tiebreaker with St. Louis, but they do not with San Francisco. And I do not believe that they play San Francisco the rest of the season. So they've lost that tiebreaker. Should they continue to play well, but the Mets need to get hot again. They just need a little heat there, and they look the flat, a little lethargic, especially in Seattle. Especially in Seattle, and maybe playing in Colorado kind of hurt them because you get a longer swing there. You want to hit home runs. You know about the whole atmosphere thing, the elevation, and the balls fly, and all of that kind of stuff. And they might have gotten into a groove there for Colorado, and then when they got to Seattle, it just doesn't work the same. But they didn't look good. The first two games to be shut out, two in a row for a contending team. It happens, but boy, it did not look good, and it wasn't fun to watch. So, that's what's going on in Mets land, and as I said, this next homestand's uber important, uber important. They get a well-deserved day off today, and we'll see how they go from there. Don't forget, they didn't have a day off last week because they had to fly to St. Louis from L.A. and play that game and then fly back out to Colorado. So that can take its toll on a team. Yes, I know they played well in Colorado, but again, that was in a higher atmosphere, so that can tire you out extra as well. And then they went to Seattle, and they looked flat, let's be honest. But hopefully they can rebound. Coming back to New York, I'm sure they flew back last night, so they got the day today to relax, to rest. They got most of the day tomorrow. It's a night game. So they have at least half a day to rest tomorrow, and hopefully they can move on from there. All right, let's take a quick break and come back right after this.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
Okay, we're back, and now it's time to go. And we've got a bunch of farm news this week. The Mets announced that Ronnie Mauricio underwent arthroscopic surgery to remove scar tissue in his right knee last week. The club says that the infielder will remain on track to be back on the diamond this offseason, and he will progress through his rehab. Mauricio is currently missing the entire season due to a torn ACL he suffered while running the bases during a Dominican Winter League game last year. Luis Angel Acuna is on a 5-game hit streak. The trend includes 1 home run, 2 multi-hit games. Through 6 games in August, Acuna is slashing .368 with 4 RBIs for the season with AAA. 4 RBI. For the season with AAA, Acuna has a .267 average and 6 home runs, 41 RBI, 31 stolen bases over 103 games. And Brandon Sproat was promoted to Syracuse last Monday. Didn't all work out as great as we thought would hope, but his AAA debut was not his best. He allowed 6 runs on 7 hits, 2 homers, while striking out 4 and walking 3 in 4.2 innings pitched. Before the promotion, Sproat was 4-1 with a 2.45 ERA in 11 starts for Binghamton. So his first start in Syracuse did not go that well, but the talent's there. We'll see what happens. Mike Vassell tied his season high 8 strikeouts Saturday against Worcester. He allowed 2 runs on 4 hits while fanning 8 and walking 1 in 6 innings. Through 22 games, 20 starts with Syracuse this season, Vassell is 6-7 with a 5.31 ERA and a 1.44 WHIP in 103.1 innings pitched. Vassell has had a very impressive second half of the minor league so far. After posting a 3.38 ERA in July, Vassell has continued to pound the zone with strikes while finding his strikeout stuff. Dom Hamill gave up 3 runs on 5 hits while striking out 4 and walking 5 in a 3.1 innings pitch last Wednesday against Worcester. It was his second straight rough start for Hamill. Previously, on August 1st at Columbus, Hamill allowed 4 runs on 5 hits while striking out 4 and walking 4 in 4.1 innings pitched. Through 20 games for Syracuse, Hamill is 3-5 with a 6.41 ERA and a 1.72 WHIP in 92.2 innings pitched. Now, there's a little trend here we see, and that is that some of the AAA pitchers are struggling. They're not having great years. Some of them just got promoted this year, so they're going to need another year perhaps. Also, AAA is using the automated strike system, and it has that league, the International League, is a hitters league. It is not a pitching league. It's a hitters league. So you throw that in. You throw in the fact that that they're using this automated strike system, so the umpires are not giving calls on borderline pitches or anything like that, and the pitches are struggling across the board. So let's keep that in mind. Let's not panic and say, "Oh, these guys are terrible," or blah 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 like that. It's a change for them, and like Sproat just got promoted. This was just his first game. You come from one level to another, and sometimes you don't have the right stuff that night, and they're a little bit better in AAA. That's why they're there. They're better hitters. They've seen more breaking balls and that sort of thing. So keep that all in mind as you think about everything. And it is a hitters league, and as I said, this automated strike system, the robot ump, whatever they call it, is throwing a lot of them for a loop. So keep that all in mind when you look at these stats. They know what they're looking for, the pitching coaches and the scouts. So they know what they're looking for. Of course, they want to see them pitch better. But, they can tell if somebody's got it or not. So we just got to wait and see what happens. A little bit more seasoning, and those numbers, I'm sure, will go down. So let's hope for the best there. Brett Beatty, he went deep in both halves of a Syracuse doubleheader sweep yesterday. They were his first home run since July 23rd when he sent 2 out of the park in one game. He hit 1 in each game of the doubleheader yesterday, so he's hitting a little bit. The Brooklyn Cyclones swept the Sunday doubleheader to earn a series split against the Hudson Valley Renegades, winning the first game 4-2 and the second one 3-1. The sweep marks Brooklyn's second doubleheader sweep of the season. If you notice, I'm wearing my Brooklyn Cyclones shirt. I had the great fun and pleasure of attending Seinfeld night on Saturday night at Maimonides Park, and what a great time it was. I love going to the Cyclones games. What a madhouse, though. Ooh. It was the first nice day we had with all of that rain, so everybody's going to the beach. And Seinfeld night is the biggest. It's a sellout all the time at Brooklyn, and they had 7,200 people, and it was crazy. But what a lot of fun we had! So, thanks to the Cyclones for putting on a great show. All right, and finally, Mets first round pick Carson Bange made his debut in the Bridge League on Saturday and didn't disappoint. The lefty bat collected 2 hits in the Bridge League, including a 99-mile-per-hour single and a 102-mile-per-hour double. Both hits came against Cardinals lefty Yadiel Batista. The Bridge League is designed for recent Major League Baseball draft picks, giving them a taste of pro baseball. The Mets faced the Cardinals on Saturday, featuring a lineup of Trace Snyder, Eli Serrano III, Nick Roselli, and other 2024 draft picks. Well, that is going to wrap it up. I'm going to look at the schedule and read this right this time. Remember, there's 3 games with the A's, 3 with the Marlins. I thought there was 4. Baltimore comes in for 3 before the Mets go on another West Coast trip and a Midwest trip. And that's going to be tough because they have an off day. They don't have an off day now until the 26th of August. So they'll off today, and then they'll be playing like 13, 14 games in a row. 13 before their next off day. So it is going to be a tough road to hoe. Thankfully, the first 9 of those 13 are at home, so they'll be sleeping in their own beds. And, folks, then we're in September, and the season's almost over. Hard to believe, isn't it? It just seems like we just started the season, and here we are coming down the home stretch, the dog days of summer already. And then summer's over. Anybody that knows me knows I love the summer. I am not a winter person at all, so I am not looking forward to the winter. But long way to go yet before we get to that, and we will run it down for you right here on Mets Musings. So I hope you enjoy the show. I hope that if you're watching this video, you'll subscribe, hit that bell, hit the like button, hit everything you need to hit down there. And if you're listening to the audio version of it, if you can, mark it as a favorite or subscribe on, because we're on every podcast app possible. And you can listen to the show. So do that as well. And until next time, all I can say is keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go, Mets. I'm Gary Mack. I'll see you next time on another edition of Mets Musings.